Alright guys, Regan Outdoors here. I just made it to Sunset Crater National Park. No, that's not right. Hey guys, Regan Outdoors here. I just made it to Sunset Crater National Monument, and I'm about to hike the Lenox Crater Trail. You're no longer allowed to hike the Sunset Crater Trail because of erosion. They closed it off a few decades ago, but at least we can do one of the craters, so let's get going. So right now it's about 7,200 feet in elevation, and you can definitely feel that in your lungs.
Just off of Highway 89 in Flagstaff, Arizona, Sunset Crater National Monument offers visitors an up-close look at several cylinder cone volcanoes. I set out to hike the two main trails, the Lenox Crater Trail and the Lava Flow Trail.
We're about 7,300 feet in elevation right now, and you can definitely feel it.
Lenox Crater, though not as large or imposing as Sunset Crater, offers some beautiful views. The trail is a short 1.1 mile loop, with a nice gradual incline to the summit.
Even though it's only in the 40s, definitely heating up. A lot of altitude, a lot of climbing on the first little stretch here. Alright, so we're almost at the top of the Lenox Crater Trail. You can't hike to the top of Sunset Crater anymore. People were doing that in the 70s and 60s and what have you, and it was creating a lot of wear. It was wearing down the trail and compacting the lava flow and basically aging the eruption site prematurely. So they cordoned it off. You can't go up there anymore. But Lenox Crater, I haven't seen it yet, but it's a crater, so at least you can hike up to that one. So we're almost there, and it should be fun. Even if it's a short trail, I always bring a pack with me. I like to train with pack weight just to get that extra workout, keep you in shape, keep your shoulders, keep your hips kind of used to having a pack on you. And that way, when you're back into hiking season doing the long stuff, you don't have that much of a shock. All right, it flattens out here.
Experienced hikers won't break much of a sweat, but the altitude is definitely noticeable for those coming from sea level.
This is a tremendous view. Right behind me, you can actually see Humphreys Peak. I hiked that one last year. Very cool hike, highest point in Arizona. Right there. All right, I see a lookout right behind me. And here's where it loops. Wow. That is a beautiful view. That is just amazing. Very cool. So I am standing on the rim of Lenox Crater right now. It was formed hundreds of thousands of years ago, and it's not a very big volcano, but it's pretty cool, and you can still see the rim pretty well. It hasn't eroded that much. You can kind of see the circular area and the concaved area. Now, if the trees weren't there, you would definitely be able to see the other side of the rim. But since the trees kind of obstruct the view, you don't get to see as dramatic of a rim shape. But in person, you can definitely see it. I think on video, it might not show as well. All right, so here's where we are right here, Lenox Crater, and that's Sunset Crater. That's the one that we can no longer climb on. All right, so we're gonna walk along the rest of the rim trail over there and then head back down and find some other trails. So for those of you who are avid hikers, this is not a hard trail at all, and it's very short. For those of you who are novice hikers, don't really get out a lot, don't exercise a lot, it could be a little bit tough. So that's Sunset Crater right behind me. You can no longer hike up it. You could in the 60s and 70s, and after that they cordoned it off because it was causing premature wear and erosion from all the people using it. I would love to hike up that, but I understand and I'm all for preservation, so that's great, but it looks so fun. So I'm jealous of the people that are old enough and have been around long enough to experience that. I would love to hike up that. All right, all done with the Lenox crater. That was a lot of fun. The crater is not nearly as big as Sunset Crater. It is cool to see kind of the depression and the concaveness and the volcanic shape. It's pretty neat to see, but it's definitely nothing even close to Sunset Crater, but that's okay. It was still fun, and it's a good little workout. Now, the good thing when you're here is you got the Lenox Trail, but you also have the lava flow trail right there at the end of the Lenox Trail, so it's kind of nice. You don't have to wander too far. All right, I'm about to do the lava flow trail now. Obviously, there's going to be some lava flow, so let's check it out.
The main section of the lava flow trail starts in the main parking lot, just up the road from Lenox Crater Trailhead. Hiking it from Lenox Crater Trailhead adds just under half a mile each way, so I decided to do that.
So the lava flow trail lets you get very, very, very close to the lava flow. So right behind me is the lava flow from the trail, and it's impressive. You can get right next to it, and it is just, it's massive. It's amazing.
Sunset Crater erupted in the year 1084, temporarily displacing the Sinagua people. The eruption produced a blanket of ash that encompassed over 2,000 square kilometers.
Nice crevice right down here. So it looks like there's a little overlook area up ahead here, so we're gonna check it out. Trail closed. Temporary trail. So this looks like a paved loop, which is okay. We can do that. Oh, actually, here's an unpaved loop. Let's take this one. Wow, look at that lava flow right there. I mean, for scale, look at the trees and the lava flow. This is pretty cool. Okay, so this just basically loops around right there. Still, you can get pretty close, which is nice. So there's Sunset Crater right there, and we are right down in the lava flow area. Really, really neat. So I noticed a lot of the tourists actually kind of stay up there closer to the parking lot as usual. I'm only about a half mile away, I don't know, maybe a quarter mile, and no one really comes this far. So the great thing with visiting a lot of Arizona sites is if you just go slightly off trail, you're gonna have, you know, the whole thing to yourself. So there's probably a dozen or so people in the parking lot right now, and I'm the only one down here, so it's great. That would be a good little hill climb, but if you approach it from that ridge, it's not too bad. But again, we cannot climb that anymore. You can actually see remnants of trails still. That right there looks like the remnants of an old trail to the top. It's amazing how Sunset Crater hasn't been climbed or hiked, I should say, in decades. But you can still see the erosion. You can still see the wear on the trails. This is a really pretty trail, and it's fairly long, so that's great. There's the summit right up there. And look at this soil. Wow. Very, very cool. 100% volcanic, red and black, beautiful colors. And we got a sign right up here. So you can see with the lava flow eruption, it slid right down here. And right along here where we were just hiking. Wow. What is... That is so cool. That is so cool. This is a spatter cone.
A spatter cone is formed when blobs of lava are thrown from a vent, forming a circular pattern around the vent before hardening.
I don't think you're allowed to stand in it. I'm not going to. So that wall right there is about 7 feet tall, just for perspective. Pretty big area. So I didn't go in there because it's a delicate structure, and I just kind of wanted to leave it the way it is. I'm all about preservation.
I came upon a park ranger who gladly obliged to be on camera. He was quite knowledgeable.
Can I put you on camera? Is that okay? Here, would you mind standing right there?
Okay.
Awesome. Just kind of explain the history of it.
I'm going public now. Yeah, this was closed in 1973. Too many feet had worn big ruts in the side, and it was being defaced. You can see that on one of the pictures back on the paved trail.
Oh, okay.
So they closed it. Nobody goes up here now except once in a while some rangers or scientists. I don't know when the last party went up there. I know they went up there in 2015. I saw some pictures.
Oh, okay.
And there's a rocky accumulation around the rim up there. I have not been up there myself.
Oh, nice. That looks like quite a hike up there.
Yeah. I know of no plans to construct a trail. It's possible they might have ideas, but I sure haven't heard about that. They have made several improvements to this monument. Trails in this area and across the road and on that Lenox crater over there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did the Lenox crater one.
Yeah.
That's a nice trail.
Yeah, that was revamped. They made a loop out of that a couple of years ago. It used to go straight up the side.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually easier but longer.
Yeah, yeah.
And since you've got me on record here, I'll give you my historical lesson.
Sure.
Recent history. In 1929, a movie company came to Flagstaff, and they wanted to make a movie called Avalanche, based on a Zane Grey novel.
Oh,
and
no
they
kidding.
were going to dynamite this mountain and blow it to pieces to make a landslide for their movie.
Wow. Wow.
Citizens of Flagstaff said, we don't think so. So they went to President Herbert Hoover, who signed for this as a national monument at their request in 1930. I like to talk about Herbert Hoover because he's a president that doesn't get such a good reputation in history. He's blamed usually for the Depression,
Right.
which he tried to deal with, but he wasn't really successful. But Herbert Hoover did sign for a large number, a long list of national monuments and historic sites under the conditions of the Antiquities Act, all across the country, not just this place, but all east to west. And He was a mining engineer who'd worked in Australia and China, a geologist by trade.
Oh, wow.
And he was known as a humanitarian. He'd been Secretary of Commerce. He had really quite an illustrious career, but he wasn't such a successful president. But we have him to thank for parks like this.
Well, I'm a fan.
And some of them that he signed for became national parks, which takes an act of Congress, such as Death Valley and Arches.
Right.
Those are two examples. Black Canyon of the Gunnison is another one. That was a national monument. Now it's a national park.
Oh, okay.
That's the difference between a monument and a park. A monument is created by presidential proclamation, signs a document essentially, but a park takes an act of Congress. Usually parks are bigger and have more variety.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. What's your name?
My name's Eric.
Eric. Nice to meet you. My name's Regan.
Regan, where are you from?
I'm from Phoenix.
Okay.
And then before that, I lived in Canada and I moved down to Washington State. So,
Where'd you live in Canada?
Vancouver area, White Rock.
That's a nice place.
Yeah, beautiful area.
I was in BC, Alberta.
That was a very nice park ranger, and he knew a lot. He knew his stuff. So he told me a few things I didn't know. I didn't know the difference between a national monument and national park in terms of how it's delegated in the government. So that was pretty fascinating.
My ranger friend also spoke about the impact of the eruption on the native Sinagua people.
So the eruption at Sunset Crater happened only 1,000 years ago, which means that Native Americans were here when it happened. They definitely had to evacuate. They lost a lot of their land. I'm not sure if they knew something was going on from the ground warming or the animals behaving weird, but it definitely displaced them a lot. And who only knows what they thought when they saw this massive eruption. But it's pretty spectacular that people were around to witness it all those years ago. All right, so that is Sunset Crater. It's a great place. Plan to spend a few hours here. There's a lot of trails. You'll get a few miles of hiking, and if you like volcanic landscape and beautiful scenery, this place is definitely for you. Till next time.